I should just probably give my take on the slur discourse that's been happening. So, people who don't know, famous streamers Ian Vaush and Hasanabi Piker, and Fawn, who has no real name. He's just a ephemeral creature of Twitch. Got banned for saying cracker on stream in varying ways. Actually, Fawn got banned for using it in chat, right? After Hasan's mods got banned for saying the word cracker. Now, a lot of discourse has been happening about this, so I guess I better throw my hat in the ring with regards to this issue as well. Now, I think the Vorsh is correct in that it is technically a slur. Like, if you're using a slur, you should just have a definition that is as easy to be able to put forward as possible, which is just that a slur that is used as a derogatory term to refer to someone based upon some level of immutable characteristic should probably be characterized as a slur. So the C slur and the N slur or whatever, these are things that you know that like these are definitely are slurs, and Twitch has every right to want to go ahead and enforce their terms of service in a way that they feel protects their brand or whatever, right? The fact that there's a bunch of rightoids on the platform that are saying that it's somehow the council culture people's chickens coming home to roost is if we're not just like, oh, okay, so they've been banned for saying this, right? Well, that's Twitch following their TOS. We can still disagree with the way in which they are doing their TOS, right? Which I think is fair enough, because I believe that, there's no specific list of words that you can or can't say on Twitch as a broadcaster. So having some kind of list of things that would at least give people an idea of what they can and can't say definitively would make things a lot easier and would lead to fewer situations like this where people didn't know exactly what they can or couldn't say, got outraged about it when it did happen, and then led to further bans down the line. That doesn't make good life good for anybody if you don't have a definitive list of what you can and can't say, and it's very nebulous, which is what the Twitch TOS is right now. So I get people's frustration with that, but the point of view that people like someone like Hasan is making this issue is saying, well, Cracker doesn't have any kind of systemic oppression behind it, so it's not a slur that has any kind of real world harm. So it's ridiculous that I got banned for it. And I'm just like, well, tough shit. Like, when the Twitch was started banning your moderators for it, you should have realized that this was a warning sign for you to not say it yourself. So you only have yourself to blame. Like, even like in the Washington Post article about it, Vorsh even said that Twitch had been cornered into it by Hassan's actions. It's like, just, I get it, right? It doesn't have any kind of weight behind it in the way that the Enslow does. Not anywhere close, right? Obviously, I think most people would agree with that. Most white people don't even care. Don't even care about being called the Sleecer. Sorry, they don't even give a shit about it. The vast majority of people don't. Who are white, I don't care about it. But if you're gonna have a policy where you just say, well, slurs based on immutable characteristics are bad, then that stands to reason that you'd want to get rid of both. Like, if you're going to say something about if the Twitch TOS was specifically about words that could theoretically be used in the context of larger systemic oppression, then the Twitch TOS would fucking say that, wouldn't it? Right? So the whole discourse is just wild from kind of both sides. Apart from, amusingly, Vorch, who seems to have the most kind of level-headed attitude with regards to this issue, where he's saying like, "Yeah, I think it's a slur. I don't think it's racist. At least not systemically racist either. And I think it's funny that I got banned for it. We win some, you lose some. I'm still going to stream on YouTube, which fair enough. Like, if one of these platforms won't let you say the slurs you want to the slurs you want to say, move to a different fucking platform. Very few people are actually offended by this term, cracker. Oh, sorry. Sorry, no, I mean the C slur. I'll get myself fucking banned now, aren't I? Fucking hell. I have to delete this part afterwards. At least I've managed to get loads of this recorded. Most people don't even care about being called the sea slur if you're white, right? No one really cares. But, if you want to say that, go to fucking YouTube. Go to D Live. There's plenty of platforms you can go to where you can say these things with impunity. which isn't really the case with regards to Twitch. And Twitch are very welcome to do so. And Hasan even makes a good point by saying that the reason why he chose Twitch as a platform specifically is because he thinks that the terms of service they have in place are the best at protecting people in general. I agree. I think that having a TOS that does protect people is a good idea. But then when you get bitten on the arse by it, you can't really cry foul, as Hasan has done and Vaush hasn't, and Fawn hasn't done either. Although even though what Fawn did was incredibly minor, she was just asking about the discourse and the slur that was being used in question in Chud Logic's chat, and she got banned for that. Like, she was just asking about the word that was being used. She wasn't using it at somebody. She wasn't using it specifically to refer to somebody's immutable characteristic. She was just asking about the word being the word and its usage in abstract. So that if anyone has the right to complain about being banned in this instance, it's Fawn, and it's definitely it's not Vaush, and 100% definitely not Hasan from this position, right? So I genuinely don't know how he can have any kind of issue with the ban that's been placed upon him, because I agree with him on the vast majority of the other things that he says, and that it doesn't have the historical weight to it that the end slur does. Like, there's no systemic actual racism going on against white people at the moment in the United States of America or whatever. Like, I get it. I 100% agree with that. But here's the thing. There's a lot of leftoids online who just want to say things like this to be edgy. It's just like kind of an edgy thing that you can get away with over on the left, right? By just saying like being kind of performatively anti-white for clout, which isn't like being anti-white isn't like a real thing. It's not the same with that right people say that anti-whiteness is some kind of societal contagion that's going around. But you're not making that discourse any better by playing into that stereotype, right? If you're going, if you know and you understand, because we all understand at this point, the amount of people are saying like, oh, the left just hate white people, the left just hate men, the left just hate cis people. If you're continually going around saying all these things, etc., etc., if they're saying all these things, why would you immediately play into the stereotype by saying, well, yeah, I hate men and I hate white people? Like, what do you do other than sour the discourse and make it impossible to be able to bring people over to your side of the equation? It's so like optically toxic. Just think, like, you don't need to say the C slur. You don't need to do it. Just a minor moderation in your language would allow you to have far more constructive conversations about the kind of the racial animus that's happening in America and the life of which black people face. Because at the end of the day, you're kind of centering yourself here. You're kind of centering yourself as somebody by talking about, you know, the discourse that's happening around the C slur and what white people think about it, rather than the actual discussion that we should be having, which is about systemic racism in the United States and in the UK. This is like the material and tangible effect that this has, and we can't have that conversation if we continue getting stunlocked by fucking inane discussions about white people called a certain slur on fucking Twitch by fucking Hasan. It's so ridiculous that this discussion is even going on, and I'm glad that at least somebody like Vaush is just said, "Oh yeah, I got banned for it. Oh, whatever, that's fine. I'll stream on YouTube. Continue to do that. Who cares, right?" Because at least he understands the positions that other people hold on this issue, and he admitted that it is a slur. He admitted it doesn't have the same weight that the end slur does, but he'll continue to use it. But he doesn't think it does much harm. Like, I think that you don't gain anything from using it, but I don't think it cause much harm either. I think it's left a bad taste in people's mouths because minorities get the stuff all the time, and it seems like white people's feelings are constantly prioritized. I mean, you're absolutely 100% correct there, So Vane. Absolutely 100% agree with you on that issue. But I'm still thinking about like the optical nature and like the actual marginal utility of saying these things yourself anyway. It doesn't help anybody to say the C slur, so why bother? Like, what do you gain from it? When really we should have a wide discussion about the way in which Twitch culture deals with people of racial minorities or gender and sexual minorities as well. Like, Twitch have put in like good things that you can do now to be able to protect against hate raids, but that's not going to change the culture in general. It's just going to push people to side. We need to have a discussion about the way of changing the culture to make it better, rather than just having endless like circular discussions about terms of service and what Twitch should be doing or whatever, and what words you can and can't say, rather than the ways in which we ameliorate racial disparities, both on Twitch, in the public sphere, and and with regards to public policy. So yeah, incredibly silly discourse, which I'm not going to spend much more time talking about, because I know all of my other favorite streamers have all done segments about it as well. But it is what it is.